I don't know whether I'm live or not. So this is a test for StreamYard, which I've never used before. And I just wanted to do a quick flip through of two of recent projects that I have bound using the Coptic stitch. So I wanted to share with you the first one, which is actually pretty old. It's last year's Inktober, where I had bought a book on beetles, and honestly, I have no interest in beetles at all, none whatsoever. Uh, I'm not a fan of bugs, but so I didn't know what to draw, and so I drew 31 different beetles, and I finally have bound them using a Coptic stitch. Now, if you use a Coptic stitch, you get a bit of a braid. Now, I'm new at this. This is like only the third thing I've ever used Coptic stitch for, but it worked. So it's great for binding loose papers, you know. So here is my beetle book. So I started out with just doing a drawing in ink. And this is all pen and ink. Obviously, it's Inktober, and I copied the innards of a beetle, uh, the ventral view of a typical beetle, and here's the dorsal. Whoops, the dorsal view, and here are some typical body parts of beetles. And then I started copying various beetles out of the this Know Your Beetle book, and I did the best I could. And again, I pen and ink, and then I did an ink wash. They add some color after it was all said and done. So I put the name of the beetle and then some, information about its length and its range and its Latin name. See, this is a little wobbly, but anyway. So I was just going to flip through this and show you my beetle collection. Some of these guys were kind of cute. This guy literally had a little bow tie on, and that's actually what they look like. Now, these are very tiny, so I guess under magnification you can pick up. And they all have little hairy legs. I found that out. So here is my beetle Inktober venture for last year. I have no idea what I'm going to draw this year. My drawing skills are very limited, but I'm working on it slowly but surely. Some of these are obviously better than others, and I kind of like them. And they're very interesting when you look at their body types and nose types. And then I started putting them on interesting backgrounds. This once I drew this one on a picture of a locker door, and I thought that was kind of just being funny. This was just, forget that. That's just a disaster. This one looks like it's got a little bra on. And I kind of did some torn paper and glued them on to give them, just a different type of background, make it a little bit more interesting. Oops, I got some strings hanging on out here. And then I just did a ladybug general kind of beetle thing. And then the end. And this is one of my all-time favorite quotes from Thomas Edison. It says, "Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up." And that's what keeps me going, because I never know how close I'm going to be to success. I'm always hoping. And that's my Inktober journal. Again, the Coptic stitch is a little wobbly, but it's holding it all together. got a couple of beetles on the back and a beetle. I have a beetle stamp, so that's that one. And the other one I wanted to show you is the sorry about that. This is the house journal. I did a video on this on Instagram. So I went and I downloaded maps of some of the places where I lived. And this is a map of Chautauqua County. And here's Lake Chautauqua. And here is, I lived in Maple Springs and then Bemis Point. Now, some of these are pictures of the actual homes and others are just, collages of various things. So I used the Coptic stitch on this. You can see this is a little more wonky than the other one. But, and the pages, I probably should have reinforced the pages a wee bit. So anyway, I just wanted to do a quick flip through. Here's another map of Chautauqua. And again, this is the house I grew up in, Wantor, with my big sister and myself. And here's that house again. This is with my older brother when he was about 12 years old. And here is just a collage. This is an apartment I lived in. And this is a embossing folder. And then I embossed it in a pop can. This is the house my parents moved to out in East Islip. I had a VW Bug, so I included that. These are some of my fish stamps. I didn't live in a lighthouse. Again, this is just a collage. Again, I've told this story before. This is the house we lived in on Staten Island when we first got married. And this is my little Fiat that was stolen. This is the farmhouse that we lived in outside of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. It was called the Cadle Farm. Again, a silly collage. Here's the farm, and this is the barn. And I colored this in just with colored pencils, but it was black and white photograph, and I just kind of colored it in with colored pencils to kind of add some dimension to it. Again, collage, collage. Collage. This is the house where my sons kind of initially grew up. Again, another silly collage. And we moved to Maple Springs, and this was the house, Summit Avenue. And this is the boys going off to school. And then when I got divorced, I moved to Bemis Point, and here's the house in Bemis Point that I lived in. It was 11 Maple Street. And I made, this was just a painting, but I put this cat, this is a cat stamp I made, and I had little, I made those are the windows, and those are little eyes. Here are my sons. This is 20 years ago, sitting on the porch at Bemis Point, sorry. This is a couple of tags I made. Maybe. And then here's some more of that house. Here's my cat, my Sweetie, looking at the window, looking at a snowy scene. And there's, I kind of extended, drew in, the upstairs and such. And this is, again, just collage, more collage. And this was the Oriental kind of collage. And then I had the barn door that I made in for Colleen. And then here's some more maps. And this is Wantor, Long Island, and Sayville, and East Islip. Those are the locations I lived in out on Long Island. So I just wanted to see how this would work. And here's some more maps. Here's a map of Staten Island, where I lived briefly. So I just wanted to share that with you. So that is my two projects that I have put together with Coptic stitch. And obviously it's a little messy, but I'm getting better, right? It's interesting. If you do it right, you end up with a very nice braid. So I'm practicing, and I think it's getting slowly better. So I hope to be out there again soon. So thank you for watching. And I'm going to end this now. Let's see if this works. I have no idea. All right, end. End broadcast. Thank you. And good night.